Welcome to Chapter 12. In this chapter, you will learn about a specific type of example called worked example. It is one of the most powerful and popular methods you can use to help learners build complex cognitive skills. Worked examples are beneficial when the content is complex and uses several of the other principles discussed in the previous chapters. Research shows that rather than pairing examples with practice problems, equal effective outcomes can be achieved by providing examples on their own. This practice reduces cognitive load and optimizes engagement. Worked examples can be designed to help learners with both procedural and/or strategic skills. Worked examples are not only relegated to the field of mathematics like most people think. Research indicates that there are benefits to using worked examples in constructing an effective argument or how to troubleshoot an equipment. These examples are applicable to the workforce where a variety of higher order level tasks and problem solving occurs. For example, this picture shows you an example of a worked example for how to make a toast, or the next one here shows you how to create an email using procedural skills as well. The chapter discusses three main types of work examples, namely the modeling example, the first solution example, and the comparison examples. The modeling work example often involves modeling from a person such as a tutor, an online avatar, or a video recorded tutor. Early modeling examples did not include humans, and examples were provided using words, whether in text or audio recorded. Worked examples offer an efficient opportunity to borrow knowledge from others. This reduces the cognitive load by relying on worked examples that promotes borrowing and then transitioning into practice exercises that helps learners to consolidate and automate new knowledge and skills. There are several benefits to using worked examples. Several research studies indicate that students who are exposed to both worked examples and practice problems perform much better than students who are given only practice problems. The benefits of worked examples have extended to several fields, to include the legal field, the electrical, and various other domains of education. And in a 2009 study by Hattie, it indicates that for conventional worked examples, there is an effect size of 0.57, and sometimes it may double to 1, which is very high for this effect size. As you can see on the picture here, there's a practice exercise and there's also an indication of a work example. There are 6 main principles associated with the worked examples, and principle 1, which is a worked example in lieu of problem assignments, is considered to be the most effective in the early stages, but it can become a hindrance for high learners later on. Principle 2 is where the fading of the worked example begins. With this principle, the learner is provided with a fully worked example, proceeded with another example where most of the steps are already worked, and the learner solved the final steps. The series ends with the learner solving a practice problem on their own. Principle 3 promotes self-explanation and deep learning. It requires that the learner answers multiple choice type questions related to the worked examples. This practice discourages the learner from bypassing the worked examples. The practice, because of a response is required before moving to the next step. Learners are asked to identify rationale for each step or compare examples. Older learners benefit the most from worked example self-explanation through active observation. However, this does not work for younger learners who are not cognitively ready. The text lists 3 research that provides evidence for the use of self-explanation worked examples in teaching and learning, and I think this is one of the most important steps. It also includes the comparison example and the modeling example. Another type of worked example for principle number 3 is the first solution example, where the learner answers multiple choice questions about the steps as is shown below. As you can see here, they're asking for a multiple choice answer to this probability rules principles. Principle number 4 includes instructional explanation of worked examples. If a learner is still not clear after worked example is provided, further guidance is given in the form of feedback to incorrect responses. The segmented principle is also addressed here. Sometimes worked examples may include 11 or more steps, and as a result, the learner needs to be able to see the relationship between each step or grouped segment of assignment. For principle number 5, it supports the use of the multimedia principle. It also supports the redundancy and the other principles. It supports the modality principle and redundancy principle in that where steps should not be presented with audio, the steps should be presented with audio, not audio and text. The same premise for the use of the cognitive principle is supported with principle number 5, where the worked examples have to have text close to the relevant visuals. The premise for principle number 6 is for learners to learn strategic skills that will transfer to other settings. It highlights 3 guidelines for transfer, where guideline number 1 uses varied text work examples, guideline number 2 includes self-explanation questions, and guideline number 3 requires active comparison and varied context examples. Thank you for watching Chapter 12. Please respond to the following questions, and I will see you in the discussion board.